Minimum wage workers across the province will be seeing a bump on their next paychecks. As of today, the minimum wage has increased from $15.50 to $16.65 an hour. And while it's welcomed news for many, some say that that amount is just not good enough.
I don't think it's enough when you consider the rent and also the cost of groceries, even travel.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but they need to go another couple of bucks higher.
It's a 6.8% increase that was announced in March to keep up with inflation now in effect.
Eventually, if you work for 40 hours a week, you can get around $160 increase a month, which might help them.
Ontario's Labour Minister has said the wage increase means up to $2,200 more in workers' pockets every year. But with the increasing cost of living, some say this new bump is far from where the minimum wage needs to be.
This adjustment doesn't really put more money in workers' pockets. It allows them to tread water, basically.
Ontario has the third highest minimum wage in Canada, with the top minimum wage earners being in the Yukon at $16.77 per hour. British Columbia slightly behind in second at $16.75.
It's not really a minimum wage increase, but it prevents us from experiencing a wage cut, which is what happens when prices rise faster than the minimum wage increases.
Critics say $16.55 is nowhere near where a living wage in Toronto should be, which, according to the Ontario Living Wage Network, is at $23.15 an hour.
Even if you go to the lowest living wage rate area in the province, Windsor, where the living wage rate is $18.15, you're still only making around $35,000 a year. So at the end of each week, working full-time minimum wage in Windsor, you'll still be 56 bucks behind every single week.
Governments like to take credit for the minimum wage increases that they're not paying for. They changed the law, somebody else is paying for it.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says the increase is coming at a time when many small businesses are still recovering post-pandemic, with the average COVID-related debt of an Ontario small business sitting at over $134,000. The CFIB says this is leading small business owners to make very difficult decisions.
They might be looking at, for example, lowering staff hours, delaying expansion plans. Another one that's coming up, we're hearing from a lot of businesses, is they're looking at automating because the cost up front may be more, but down the line, they'll see the savings.
The CFIB says the province needs to do more to help ease the burden of the rising cost of living off workers and small businesses.
Governments have to look at lowering costs for people and lowering costs for the small businesses that employ them.
In Toronto, Nakhavoly, City News.